more doubts or diplomacy, no more half measures or limited strikes. The United States and Israel have unleashed an all-out war on Iran. As we speak, waves of ballistic missiles are flying over the region. Interceptor missiles are streaking through the air. Citizens are in bunkers or fleeing cities. It's the most dangerous moment in West Asia since the Iraq War, more than 20 years ago. We're looking at a mass casualty event, a war that could reshape the region and indeed the world. So how did it all start? Around noon here in India, reports started trickling in. Israeli jets began striking targets in the Iranian capital, Tehran. Israel's defense minister confirmed this. He called it a preemptive attack. At that point, everyone had just one question. Was this a lone Israeli attack? Or would the Americans join in? That was the question. In a few hours, we got the answer. American warships fired Tomahawk missiles from sea. They slammed into Iranian military targets across the country. And then Donald Trump dropped a video message. He announced the start of what he called major combat operations against Iran. He promised to obliterate Iran's missile program.
The United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission.
What you heard was a big admission from U.S. President Donald Trump. He says American soldiers may lose their lives and that the U.S. machinery may be destroyed. It tells you how massive this operation is. And the bigger the operation, the bigger the retaliation. Reports say there is a clear division of roles in this attack. Israel has deep knowledge of the Iranian leadership and regime. So the Israeli military is hitting regime targets in Iran. Meanwhile, the US military is targeting Iranian missiles and missile launchers. As always, Israel has released footage of its operations. Take a look.
This is 7 November Golf, Roger. Request you check your Romeo side. I'll go ahead and check my Tango side. 7 November Golf out.
Israel has set ambitious goals. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wants to denuclearize Iran, and he too is openly talking about regime change.
Together with the United States, we will strike the terror regime harshly. We will create the conditions that will allow the brave Iranian people to rid themselves of the burden of this murderous regime. This is your chance to establish a new and free Iran. Take your fate into your own hands. Raise your head. Lift your eyes to the sky. Our forces are there, pilots of the free world. Everyone is coming to your aid. Help has arrived, and I believe the day is near when Israel and free Iran will hold hands in favor of security and peace, in favor of progress and prosperity.
Iran says one of the targets was a primary school. They claim that Israel killed 51 girls with a single strike. Iran's foreign minister has also posted pictures of the aftermath. Now, frankly, this attack was not a surprise. The US had assembled a massive armada in West Asia, so an attack was always coming. We've been talking about it on the show. Iran, too, was probably ready for the attack. In June last year, the Iranians took time to hit back at Israel, but this time they responded within hours. The Iranian military's trump card is its missile stockpile. Tehran is said to have more than 3,000 ballistic missiles, and they're firing these missiles in waves at enemy targets. But just like Iran, Israel and America are also better prepared this time. The US has positioned warships near the Israeli port of Haifa. Together with Israel, they're shooting down Iranian missiles and drones. As far as wars go, this is a strange one. Iran and Israel do not share a border, so there is no question of fighting on the ground. It's all aerial. Missiles from Iran take around 12 minutes to reach Israel. There's a 12-minute period, and that gives them enough time to intercept those missiles. And yet last year, that 12-minute period was not enough. Almost 50 Iranian missiles hit Israeli cities, 50 missiles. And that forced Israel to agree to a ceasefire. But this time, there are two key differences. One, both Israel and the US are ready for a long and sustained operation. They're not hitting Iranian nuclear sites. They're hitting military and leadership targets.
Even at this very hour, Air Force squadrons and pilots are striking across Iran. We are all with them and behind them. The operation will continue for as long as required.
So that's the first difference, hitting leadership targets. Israel and the US are in it for the long haul. And secondly, Iran is even weaker than the last time. A lot of their missile launchers are being targeted, so Iran's ability to sustain this attack is in question. They're prepared, yes, but do they have the capability? Well, that's the big question. Iran knows that it cannot defeat Israel or the US militarily, so their strategy is to increase costs on both sides. And a big part of that are the Gulf states.
Please pay attention to this video. It be like say the Third World War is about to happen. Share this video to everyone so that they go hide at a lot of wetin won't go on for the world right now. Pay attention to the end so that you go understand everything where they go on. They at a lot, and share this video right now to your friends.
And that sense of urgency is essential. When I look around the globe, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and others are increasing their collaboration and their cooperation as their interests align against us. We see this clearly in Ukraine. While President Trump pushes for a peaceful resolution to a horrible war, China continues to fund Putin's war machine. Iran continues to supply technology and weapons. And North Korean combat troops remain in Russia on Ukraine's border. And of course, there's a confluence between Russia, Iran, and Venezuela and their dark fleet of oil tankers that is helping to fund the war. In the Arctic and the high north, we see a similar trend. Russian and Chinese vessels are conducting more and more joint patrols. Chinese icebreakers and research vessels are in Arctic waters, and their research is not for peaceful purposes. It's to gain a military advantage. Russia, meanwhile, continues testing advanced capabilities in the Barents Sea. As new shipping routes emerge and new resources are discovered, the Arctic only grows in strategic importance. And all of this comes in the midst of an increasing hybrid threat: airspace violations, GPS and GNSS interference, and the shadow fleet in the Baltic Sea threatening underwater infrastructure. In short, the Arctic, and Northern Europe by extension, has become a front line for strategic competition. Within NATO, Allied Command Operations, the command that SACEUR oversees, has taken steps to strengthen our deterrent posture, much of which is oriented in that northern region, here. Just over a year ago, we established Baltic Sentry, an activity to protect that critical underwater infrastructure. In this past fall, we developed Eastern Sentry to increase our agility and further integrate our air and missile defenses on the eastern flank. More recently, in just the past month, we've realigned the boundaries of our joint commands, and now Joint Force Command Norfolk brings together NATO's activities in the Arctic under one command, allowing us to better defend all allies in Europe, in the Arctic, and the strategic approaches to North America. Allies are also working together closely on Arctic issues. At a recent Arctic Chief of Defense conference, we agreed to increase our understanding of activity in the Arctic, to enhance our domain awareness, and to increase our own activities and exercises in the High North. In short, military cooperation in this region has never been stronger. Moving forward, we intend to expand our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities, to improve our infrastructure and logistics for military mobility, and to strengthen our presence with Arctic-capable forces, many of those forces here in Sweden. With 7 of 8 Arctic nations inside the alliance, the other one being Russia, we will and we can get this right. Now, what's Sweden's role? As our newest ally, Sweden is instrumental. 2 years in, and you have already demonstrated exceptional commitment. You're the framework nation for our forward land forces in Finland. You're filling staff roles throughout my command, especially in critical positions at Joint Force Command in Norfolk and our Training and Assistance Command for Ukraine. You've contributed capabilities for operations and our vigilance activities across the entire European continent. You're a model for societal resilience. And Sweden is among the top supporters of Ukraine through the prioritized Ukraine requirements list, the Pearl, and a number of other venues. In short, Sweden is setting an example for all of us, and I truly appreciate your leadership. Now, as you're aware, transforming for the future and strengthening deterrence takes resources, a lot of resources. But while the defense investment pledge at the Hague Summit in 2025 was historic, money alone is not a deterrent. We need the equipment, the weapons, and the munitions to start showing up in our allied military inventories. And this is where Sweden really stands apart. You have an incredibly strong industrial base, and there are steps that we can use across the alliance to learn from your experience. As governments remove barriers to work with defense firms, you're doing that here in Sweden, and we can learn from you. As you build transatlantic partnerships or pan-European partnerships or global partnerships with other like-minded nations, we can learn from you. And as you create opportunities for co-production and co-development, we can learn from Sweden. Sweden's industrial base is already doing these things and demonstrating that it can deliver. Yesterday, I heard the phrase "made with Sweden," in stark contrast to the other phrase that you might have chosen, a more protectionist phrase of "made in Sweden." This is fantastic. All allies would benefit from adopting this mentality, as a rising tide lifts all boats. So, in conclusion, everything I'm seeing from Sweden, the collaboration, the modernization efforts, the defense investments, the health of your defense industry, frankly, I think someone gave you all a checklist for being a model ally, and you just went down and started checking it off. So it's a real privilege to be here today, with you today with a model ally who's doing so much for the alliance, and I truly look forward to your questions.
Thank you. As you said, the Arctic region is of growing strategic importance. Would you say that there is an immediate threat to NATO territory right now?
I don't think there's an immediate threat to NATO territory right now. One of the reasons is, there's a couple of reasons. First, Russia is committed in Ukraine. The vast majority of their forces are dedicated to that effort. Their war economy is dedicated to that effort. And that's one of the reasons that we owe so much to Ukraine as they stand on the front lines of European defense. Russia also is aware of the incredible power of the alliance. and we have deterred the alliance from conventional attack for 76 years and will continue to do so in the future because of the strength that we have, the strength that is there today that will be even better tomorrow and even better the day after that. Russia knows that it cannot afford to take us on.
We've heard a lot lately about activity from Chinese or Russian vessels close to NATO territories. Would you say that it's not a reason to really see this as an immediate threat today?
Well, it will grow into more and more of a threat. So as I mentioned, as the ice recedes and there's more and more access up there, we certainly see Russia and China working together. We have had Chinese vessels patrolling with Russia, not only on the north coast of Russia, but also north of Alaska and near Canada. And like I mentioned in my remarks, it's not for peaceful purposes. They're not studying the seals and the polar bears. They're out there doing bathymetric surveys and trying to figure out how they can counter NATO capabilities on and under the sea. So that's something that could grow very quickly, and we need to be mindful of it and ready for it.
This might be a tricky question, but I think you understand that there is an uncertainty if the U.S. national strategy, along with the recent statements from President Trump, has changed anything when it comes to NATO.
So what do you think will going to happen for the world in general? Which one I think is this thing a sign of Third World War coming? Drop your opinion and drop your thought at the comment section. Share this video so that everybody will give their own humble contribution and drop click the subscribe button for more updates. Share this video so that everybody could be at a lot of what is going on in the whole world. It's important for everybody to get this information rightly. It's important for everybody to be at a lot of what's to happen. So share this video so that you'll not forget, and click the subscribe button for more updates and more information.